One of three persons injured in crash in Runaway Bay transferred to hospital in Kingston. One of the three persons injured in a motor vehicle crash in Runaway Bay St. Anne yesterday morning is being transferred to another hospital in Kingston. This as the crash victim is said to be in critical condition. The other two remain at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital in serious but stable condition. The collision occurred in the vicinity of the Bahia Principal Hotel at about 8:16 a.m. The cause of the crash is not yet clear. It involved a blue tour bus and a white Probox motor car. Yesterday morning's crash is the fourth since the start of the week. On Wednesday, the crash along the North Coast Highway near Pearly Beach claimed the lives of 3 people. There were also 2 other crashes in Fern Gully, one of which resulted in the death of a woman and a child among several other persons injured. 2 men charged over Christmas Day gun attack in Old Harbor. Charged with wounding with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, and being a part of a criminal organization are 28-year-old Sheldon Brown, otherwise called 12, of Torrental Road in the parish, and 20-year-old Gregory Henry of Wildman Town, Portland Cottage, Clarendon. Reports from the Old Harbor Bay Police are that about 12 a.m., Brown, Henry, and 2 other men, all armed with handguns, ambushed a man along a dirt track in the community. They opened fire at him, hitting him in the abdomen before escaping in the air on foot. The injured man was taken to hospital where he was treated. Brown and Henry were taken into custody after their attorney handed them over to the police. Charges were subsequently laid on Tuesday, April 2nd. Their court date is being finalized. Taxi operators urged to use designated pickup points for smooth traffic flow. In an effort to ensure free flow of traffic along roadways, taxi operators are being urged to use designated areas to pick up passengers. Head of the Constabulary Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary McKenzie, says while there is cooperation from most operators, there are some repeat offenders. Noting that poor behavior by drivers contributes to the build-up of traffic, ACP McKenzie warns that continued breaches will result in prosecution. He was speaking during a Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services virtual meeting on Wednesday.
Some persons, whilst they cooperate, others don't, and they seek to obstruct rather than move along and so on. I am in solidarity with any call that is made for specific areas to be made available for set down and take up and for terminating and so on, because that is indeed necessary for order and for development. However, once it continues, once it is in the fashion or manner that it is in, we have to work together in ensuring that order prevails. Some areas that the yellow curb walls are where we have signs marked no stopping and no parking. The police require adherence to the signs that are in place. So that is very important. Number 2, whether or not the curb walls are painted white, yellow, pink, blue, black, if persons are using the roadways and they stop in lanes and obstruct other vehicles, or they double park, or they park contrary to what is required, then the police is empowered to take action. So that is very important to note. We recognize, and this I have been saying and to my officers, that it is necessary to accommodate taxi operators at bus stop and so on. What we have seen on some occasions is a lack of cooperation by some of the taxi operators.
JC Old Boys Association says it's open to constructive dialogue amid protests. Following Thursday morning's protest by the Jamaica College Old Boys Association demanding the resignation of Lance Hilton as chairman of the school board, the group has announced their intentions to resolve internal issues openly and respectfully. In a release on Friday, the executive board of the JC Old Boys Association said as the institution continues to iron out their differences in a way that preserves the school's best interests and that of its students, it is encouraging constructive dialogue. The association continues to encourage constructive dialogue between all parties involved in addressing any concerns that will arise utilizing the opposite channels while preserving the best interests of the institution and its students as top priority, the release read. By taking a measured approach, JC Old Boys Association Limited is hopeful that the situation can be resolved through open and respectful communication. This after acting principal Wayne Robinson insisted on Thursday that there would be no letting up in getting information on what he said was an unaccounted sum of more than $20 million raised for the school. According to Robinson, the monies were raised for the Old Hope Road School by the Old Boys Association during the tenure of former President Major Buster Jarrett. Robinson had filed a lawsuit against Jarrett alleging that $3 million from the sale of school uniforms, which were given to the association in a fundraising effort, were misappropriated. However, last month, Supreme Court Judge Justice Opal Smith rejected Robinson's suit on the grounds that he had no standing to bring such a claim in his personal capacity as principal of the school, and that Major Jarrett was not a proper party to the claim, as all the time he was acting as president, the JC Old Boys Association. While the situation at the institution continues to evolve, the association in its release maintained that focus should be firmly placed on the school's continued successes rather than fomenting internal discord, adding that it stands ready to assist in facilitating positive discourse as required. UAWU reports that some progress was made in discussion with JUTC management. The University and Allied Workers Union has reported that some progress was made in discussion with the management of the Jamaican Urban Transit Company JUTC. The union met with the bus company and the Labour Minister to iron out issues relating to adjustments to premiums for health insurance coverage for workers. The matter led to workers becoming restive, but the fair strike was put off and normal operations resumed as the parties continue negotiations. The President Clifton Grant said the insurance provider has unblocked the cards, allowing workers to regain access to benefits. The Vice President noted that talks will continue into next week.
We met with the management of JUTC and Canopy representative this morning. And coming out of the meeting, the Canopy agreed to unblock the card, so restore the use of the card to the employees. So we're expecting by now that the workers will have full access to their cards, and we agree to continue talks come next week in order to work towards some final conclusion as related to Canopy request for additional increase and premium to the employees. So we're looking forward to that discussion and the fact that the card has been restored for the workers to have access to their benefits. That's a positive outcome out of this morning meeting. So we keep the dialogue going, hoping that by next week we will have some further development to bring us closer to some final understanding.
Sentencing of Shenica Grace killer deferred to April 12. Gregory Roberts, the man convicted of the 2017 murder of 15-year-old schoolgirl Shenica Grace, will have to wait until April 12 to learn how much time he will have to spend behind bars. Roberts was given the new court date and was remanded following his latest appearance in the St. James Circuit Court. The court was advised that a new date, which will mark the third day of Roberts' ongoing sentencing hearing, would allow presiding High Court Judge Justice Bertram Morrison enough time to go through the lawyer's submissions in order to render a clear sentence. Prior to the new date being set, lead prosecutor Andrea Martin Swaby delivered her closing statement in which she urged Judge Morrison to give Roberts a sentence of life imprisonment with parole to be considered after an initial 50 years prison term. Martin Swaby cited several aggravating factors to justify the proposed sentence, including 2 convictions that Roberts had prior to his murder of Gray on January 29, 2017. Those convictions include a suspended sentence for simple larceny in 2014 and a 6-month term for escaping custody in 2016. Can this court find that Mr. Roberts can truly be rehabilitated? There is a habitual level of criminality that is being demonstrated, and not just habitual but escalating, Martin Swaby asserted. That declaration ran counter to the claim made by defense attorney Paris in his closing submission on Thursday that Roberts was capable of reformation. Paris had urged Morris to impose a starting sentence of between 20 to 25 years imprisonment. Roberts was found guilty of Gray's murder at the close of his trial on January 24 this year. Gray, a grade 10 student of Greenpond High School in St. James, was last seen alive in Montego Bay on January 29, 2017, while on her way home from a schoolmate's funeral. Her body was found with multiple stab wounds in bushes in Erin Community 3 days later. Fed still aiming to recover funds from Alliance Financial Limited. The Financial Investigations Division Fed says Thursday's dismissal of 17 charges against Alliance Investment Management Limited does not affect ongoing efforts to recover the full benefits obtained by Alliance Financial Limited for the offenses for which it was convicted. The charges against AML were dismissed on Thursday after Chief Parish Judge Chester Crooks upheld a no-case submission by the company's attorneys in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. In a statement Friday, the Fed said it respects the judge's decision to dismiss the charges against the principal directors, Peter and Robert Chin, but made it clear that the rule does not affect ongoing efforts by the agency to recover the full benefits obtained by AFL from the offenses for which it was convicted in 2022. Lead attorney for AIML, King's Counsel Tom Tavares Vinson, had criticized the Fed for taking action against the financial institutions and its directors. He argued that the Fed had run a reputable financial institution by its action. But in an apparent pushback, the Fed said it stood by its decision to bring the charges against AIML, AFL, and their president Peter Chin and vice president Robert Chin for breaches of the Bank of Jamaica's Act, the Banking Services Act, and the Proceeds of Crimes Act in December 2021. They were accused of carrying on the business of lending foreign currency without being an authorized dealer under the Bank of Jamaica's Act. The charge related to several foreign currencies loans totaling approximately US $8 million to various entities. The directors were accused of accepting deposits without the requisite license from the Bank of Jamaica between 2014 and 2017. These breaches relate to a series of deposits which exceeded US $7.5 million. The Fed said AFL pleaded guilty in 2022 and was fined $50,000 or 9 months imprisonment for each of the 28 counts of carrying on the business of lending foreign currency without being an authorized dealer under the Bank of Jamaica's Act. It said AFL was also fined $2.5 million or 12 months imprisonment for accepting deposit without the requisite license from the Bank of Jamaica. The Fed added that based on the serious nature of the offenses, the court imposed a significant fine totaling $21.4 million against the financial institution. The Fed said it subsequently initiated and completed a criminal 45-charge investigation against AFL regarding its benefits from the offenses for which it was convicted. The file is currently before the Supreme Court to be heard later this year. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.